That note.
Dave Palumbo here. It is God knows what time. We are live. This is the Mr. Olympia post-game show. I'm here with King KAMALI and John HANSEN. It's 3 a.m. in the morning here in New York.
What the fuck, man?
King, you want to go to Sound Factory after we're done with this?
Fuck the Sound Factory. I'm going to kill the promoters of the Mr. Olympia, man, one at a time, starting with Dan Solomon. I'm going to kill him.
What I don't understand is why don't they put the men's prejudging first?
Yeah. Are we going to start with that, Dave? Are we really going to start with that?
We got to start with that. Yeah.
I mean, you would have to be a Neolithic moron not to just put two and two together to realize that bodybuilding is all about timing.
Yeah.
It's all about timing. 1 hour, 15 minutes, 45 minutes can make the difference between first and third place, first and fourth place. You're playing with these people's lives. They're sitting there backstage with their feet elevated, eating. What are we going to do? Right. Eating. And your body's changing as the seconds are going by.
Yeah. I feel bad for those guys, but wait, now, the truth is the finals that took place before the prejudging with the women and the 212, those people were done already. So it doesn't matter if they wait around. They already had their prejudging. You really should have the men first.
Or like you said, Dave, let's do it on Saturday morning. Just do the men on Saturday morning.
How about put the women on Friday, the men on Saturday? All men on Saturday, all women on Friday. End of story.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
All right, let's
100%.
talk about the show. And I don't know if I'm watching this right. Is Ramy gone? Did he lose prejudging, King?
No. I think that he's clearly number one.
You think so? What do you think, John?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, they didn't really.
Well, why not? How come he didn't get one? They didn't put him in the middle once.
If you're going by what I saw and what we saw on the video, okay. Yeah. Remember, being there is something completely different than watching it on your monitor. John knows that. You know that. I know that. We all know that. When Ramy walked out, it just felt like there's Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
I mean, just the mass and the thing, the size, and he was better than last year, much improved from last year. I think it was just a combination of 50 different things, and Steve saw it, and he, the head judge decides who gets to stand where and who gets compared to who.
How could they not put Mr. Olympia in the middle and let everyone be compared against him?
I agree with you. No, I totally agree with you with that. But I still think Ramy won.
I don't think he won. I look in the history of watching bodybuilding shows. Have you ever seen any show, much less the Mr. Olympia, where Mr. Olympia was not in the middle? The guy that the judges thought were going to win the show.
Okay, I'll do a counter response to that. Okay. They put Derek in the middle. So what does that mean?
No, okay. Derek and Hottie were in the middle. I think they're 1 and 2.
I don't think so. No. See, this is the beautiful thing about bodybuilding. We all saw the same show, but our eyes are seeing something completely different, man.
Right.
So, we're going to break down these guys in a second. John HANSEN, tell me what you think.
I think like what King said. I think what King said. I think when Hottie or Ramy came out, I think he was so much improved, and they had such a great top 6 that they just had Ramy off to the side, and I don't think they needed to move him in the middle. Because I think they just kind of accepted he was going to be number 1, and then they had to figure out who's going to be 2 through 6.
The whole show, I can understand. Maybe after the first quad, you pull him off to the side, but the whole show,
it's weird. No, without a question. I think John would say that too. It was weird. Yeah. It was definitely weird. But putting Derek, listen, I have nothing against Derek. When he came out, crowd favorite, his shape, everything's there, but there's something missing. I can't put my finger on it. And then when he does the last, he's great from the lower body, from the quads, his separation, his hams and glutes are in, great back double bicep, great shape, all that. But there's just something not there. I can't put my finger on it. And then when he hits the last couple poses, especially from the shoulders and the chest, there's nothing there. It doesn't. There's nothing popping whatsoever. And I'm getting text messages from Milos. He's screaming. He's like, "I told you so. Nobody wants to listen to me." I'm like, "I agree with you, man. I totally agree with you."
Let's look at this. Let's look at this top group here.
This was a really amazing top 6, though.
Without a doubt.
Derek Lunsford on the left, Hadi Chupin next to him, Samson Dowda, Brandon Curry, Big Ramy, and Nick Walker. Great top 6. And it tells you how good the top 6 was because there was no Hunter Labrada in this call-out. There was no Andrew Jack in this call-out.
And no William Bonac.
And no William Bonac, who looked like he wanted to kill someone,
Right.
I mean, he was definitely upset with the call-out.
Well, we kind of knew that was going to happen. There was so many good guys going in this. We knew there was going to be 3 or 4 guys.
Let's look at this.
Good bodybuilders that weren't going to be in the top 6.
Yeah, let's look at this. Ramy's huge. He's the biggest guy up there. No one's even close to him. Even Samson, who's almost, who's taller than him, and Andrew Jack, who's big. Ramy is the biggest guy, but it looks like he's got some deficits in some areas. A lot of people that I talk to in the theater think that Ramy is going to lose this thing.
I think if that was the case, I think they would have compared him directly to whoever they thought was going to beat him.
I agree with that. That makes that makes sense to me too.
Unless they think Ramy is not even in the top 3.
No, I don't think they would dismiss
him. Yeah, because Dave, you got to understand. Let's look at the facts here. You got to knock out a Mr. Olympia. Do you agree with that?
I normally, yes, I do.
Okay, let's just that's step 1. Step number 2: did Ramy improve from last year?
Definitely.
Definitely. I think his conditioning is better.
Okay, but he improved. I just want to. I'm trying to get.
Let me qualify that. I think his conditioning is better. I think his shape is worse. Does that make sense?
See, I don't see it that way. I see it as, I think I know where you're going with this. And the way I know Dave Palumbo, I'm going to try to be like Karnak and read your mind right now. I don't think you like Ramy's body part. Like, I think you think that he has small arms. His arms are weak.
His arms are small, and I think his back is very retracted on the back double bicep. And I think that maybe the judges think that he's a little beat up looking. I don't know.
See, the way I saw it, especially in the last call outs and stuff, this is the way I saw it. Okay. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm sitting here watching. I'm an IFBB pro. I'm watching. I'm thinking to myself, I'm a fan. I want to see what's going on. So I'm tearing these guys apart.
Right.
What I'm seeing is, I'm asking myself questions. Is Hadi better than he was last year? No. He looks the same. Hadi to me, exactly. Hadi looks the same. It's not like he's any worse, and he's not like any better. He looks the same as he did at the night show last year.
Right.
Brandon improved.
I thought so.
That's how I'm looking at it. Brandon is bigger. Brandon is more shapely. Brandon's legs are filled out a little bit more. Brandon from the back, his hams and glutes starting to fill out a little bit. When it was really shallow last year, it's starting to fill out a little bit. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, Hadi remained the same, still looks fantastic, still the best conditioned guy. That I'm going to admit right off the bat. Brandon improved. And then you got Samson. And I'm sitting here texting Milo saying, what the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Samson looked good, but I thought from his back could have been a little tighter.
Samson compares well because of one reason. He's complete.
Yes, I'll agree with that.
He's complete. He's got fitness.
His conditioning from behind is not where it needs to be.
I totally agree, but he's complete. This is a very, very, very tough Olympia.
He made a very tough top 6. He beat William Bonac. He beat Andrew Jack, and he beat Hunter Labrada. So that alone, if he comes in 6th place, he should leave very happy. I would say.
Yeah.
I would say so too. But I'm gonna say one thing though, throw a little curveball in there. Andrew Jack, man. Is there something about this guy, even Phil Heath, which I don't agree with a lot of the things that he was saying, but I do agree with the fact that your eyes just keep going to Andrew Jack.
Yeah.
He's got that 3D freaky.
Yeah, but you know what? When he goes to the side poses, he doesn't have any
hams and glutes.
Drop.
Hams and glutes. Yeah.
He
definitely needs that alien, and what we used to call back in the day, alien hams and glutes.
Yeah. If he gains 10 pounds of muscle, he's going to be almost unbeatable.
I would say you know how many times have we said future Mr. Olympia, future Mr. Olympia? This guy legitimately is a future Mr. Olympia if he gets hams and glutes just to, like you said, let him hang a little bit, and he gets that alien triangle down at the bottom of his glutes, lights out.
All right. You know what? I want to play this video for you guys, which is Ramy doing his compulsories here. Break this down for us, John Hansen. What do you see here?
Well, he's much harder than he was last year. You could see when he walked in, you could see his abs. I mean, he was just really hard. Mm-hmm. His side shots are always good. His legs look phenomenal. There's glute, hamstring tie-in. Arms look a little weak compared to his upper body, the thickness of his chest. But awesome conditioning, especially in the legs.
King, to me, Ramy looks like a humongous structure with some broken pieces to it. And I say this with all due respect, 'cause I love mass and I love freakiness. And Ramy is freaky. I feel like his waist got a little wider. I feel like look at the back double. I just feel like, he's got a great lat spread, but the back double is vulnerable there. Although he's got girthiness, it just seems like it's missing. Like the bottom portions are missing. We know that.
Well, they're higher up, but it's super thick what he's showing.
But
Dave, even with everything you just said, I totally agree. When he still hits it, you still say he's Mr. Olympia because nobody was blowing him out of the water. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the whole issue with this top six. It was such a good top six that you're sitting here breaking people down from body parts now.
Yeah, but he's got scooped. He's got those two little spoons that was scooped out of his quads. I mean, he's got some. I remember when he first hit the scene in 13, and everyone was what we were saying is he was so clean. His lines, he had no bumps and lumps, and I just feel like he's a little bit of damaged goods. I still would not have had a problem with him winning, but I have a problem with the fact that the judges did not put him in the middle. And
I agree with that.
There's no way you can say that this guy beat everyone in that lineup if he's not in the middle standing next to these guys. And so the fact that they didn't even put him there, that tells me that the judges don't even think that he's even worthy of being top three. I would love completely wrong. I can be completely wrong.
I would love to be a fly on the wall listening to the conversation between Chad Nichols and whoever he's calling right now. He's calling right now, I would love to be in that conversation because Chad's asking the same fucking question right now.
This guy's saying right here that Dave, you're 100% right. You know what? I'll tell you. I'll tell you why I feel that way. Because you know what? When I was competing, I remember I did a show. It might have been Nationals, and they did first call out, and then they did second call out. And the guys in the second call out, of which I was in, were really good. They were all the guys that everyone thought was going to win the show. So everyone immediately thought, you know what? The second call out must have been the first call out, and the first call out must have been the second call out. That wasn't it, because the first call out is always the first call out. And when they put someone in the middle, those guys are usually 1 and 2. And I think that, Derek Lunsford and I think that Hadi Choopan might be 1 and 2 in this show with a Brandon, Curry very close third there.
If they would have called up 3 guys, I think you might be right. But with 6 guys, I think it just ended up they were comparing other guys in the middle. And
how could they leave Ramy on the? How do you leave Mr. Olympia all the way on the side?
Because I think they already decided once he came out and did his mandatories that he.
And you know what? No, let me tell you something. Back in the day, KAMALI, you know this. Back when you would compete in the 90s, what would happen? Dorian would come out and do a couple call-outs, and then what would they do? They'd put him on the side off the stage where the guys are standing on the side waiting to be called out, and he would never get called out again because he was the winner.
Right.
But never did they put him in a call-out, and he was all the way on the end. He was always in the middle,
But they used to do 3 people call-outs before.
Right,
now they don't. Now
did you ever see Dorian on the right on the 3-person call-out? Was he ever all the way on the right side? No, he was in the middle.
Exactly. It was a very screwy thing, and only Weinberger is going to know what the hell he was doing or what he was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. I like the fact that they did that comparison, the second to the last comparison, when they brought the Andrew and Samson and Hunter. That was good. That's good. As Mannion would say, that's good for the sport. That's good for the sport. So that was good, because you got to sit there and say, okay, you guys are all trying to squeeze into sixth place. Who's got it? Who wants it more than anything else? I've seen that happen before at the USA's in the light heavyweight class when I used to push Ramy. They did that. They told them to go backstage and wait, and they made him come back out again for the first time. That's kind of the feeling that I got from that. But I'm going to have to disagree with you, Mr. Palumbo.
All right. Well, we'll see.
My dear friend, I have Ramy winning.
All right. Nick Walker, better, worse than the last time we saw him? What do you think?
Better. Definitely better.
Yeah, better.
What do you like? What did you think was better about him?
Go ahead.
Well, everybody was talking about how he was going to be flat. He was not flat. He's still super thick. I think a lot of it has to do with his, just his body structure. But he was definitely hard. And, it sounds weird. I like the color of the trunks. I thought they worked great with his body. With his tan was great. His posing was right on. Hit the shots really hard. I mean, he's really, really looked good.
I would have liked to seen him put between Derek Lunsford and Hadi Chupin. I wanted to see him right in between them. I don't know why they didn't put him between them. It seemed like they kept him off to the side too a little bit, next to Ramy.
Yeah, he was next to Ramy, and they had him next to Derek, but they didn't have him next to Hadi.
By your cryptic way of judging, King, okay?
Yes.
According to your way you judged, it should have been Ramy first and then Nick Walker second, since those guys were all the way on the right side, and they just left him there.
No, don't compare Nick to
top two. Maybe they were top two.
We can't compare Nick to, because they brought Nick in to stand next to they brought him all the way to the left side. You're forgetting that. They brought him to the left side, and then they brought him back to the right again, and they compared to Derek. I'm just listen. If we're going predictions of what we really think the top 5 or 6 are, I'll tell you mine right now. This is the way I saw Ramy 1. Yeah. Now here's where everybody's going to get mad at me from Iran. Everybody in Iran is going to start sending me, the fucking we're going to kill you. We're going to find your family. We're going to execute this. Everyone's going to be. But I have to again explain my reasoning. I have it exactly like last year. I have Brandon second again. The reason why is because Brandon improved from last year, okay? And it's just his shape. He's just, when he poses, he's a bodybuilder. That's the only way to explain it. He looks like a bodybuilder when he poses. I have Ramy, Brandon, Hadi, Samson in 4th place, and Derek and Nick are fighting for 5th and 6th. That's how I have it.
I think you're crazy. Let's look at Derek Lunsford. Was this a good transition from 212 to open John Hansen?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, he was impressive.
His shape is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like they were talking about Rafael Brandao about his shape. Derek's got the shape. Derek's got the best shape in the lineup. I
think Derek's a little flat here. I think if Derek eats a lot, he's going to be even more impressive tomorrow night, to be honest with you. He's shredded. I mean, this guy is peeled. He might be the hardest guy in the lineup. He might be harder than Hadi Chupin. I got news for you. I think he's drier.
In some body parts, yes, but not overall.
Yeah.
I think Hadi's a little bigger than Derek, is what I saw in the comparisons.
I thought
Hadi got bigger too, but Hadi did get bigger from last year.
Any way that these two guys are 1st and 2nd?
No.
I think they are. I'm going to go on the record and say I think that Derek Lunsford and Hadi Chupin are battling for 1st and 2nd.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
No, I don't see that. I don't. Me and John don't see it.
What do you guys think?
What's that?
I'm asking the guys who are watching live, since we're doing a live show, what they think. This guy says he thinks Derek won, Derek 1st. This guy says Derek 1st, Nick 2nd. Let's see. See if there's anyone out there worth quoting. This guy thinks Hadi, Derek, Ramy, Samson, Brandon, Nick. Yeah, everyone's. I think everyone's confused. But
yeah, I think if they were going to do that, if they were going to, uncrown Big Ramy, then they would have done more comparisons. They would have done more 3-person comparisons.
Or maybe not, John. Wouldn't it be a little easier if we never really saw them next to each other?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but he wasn't that.
They may just say he was off.
If Ramy was completely off, everything you're saying right now would make sense, but he wasn't.
Well, let me hit you with a scenario. If you want to get rid of Mr. Olympia, okay?
Yeah.
And Mr. Olympia is the biggest guy on stage, and you want to get rid of him maybe because something looks messed up with him. Remember when Iris Kyle did the Arnold Classic that one year? Mm-hmm. She'd been winning Olympias and Arnold's, and she had some lumps on her, okay? And they just kind of pushed her off to the side, and she didn't place. And then she came back and won again the next year after that. Maybe there's something that they don't like about the way Ramy looks, and they say, you know what? They figure if we put him next to these guys, he's so big, it's going to distract us. It's going to distract the people who are watching and the judges. We'll just leave him over there, let people focus on the guys that we think are the best, which I don't disagree. I think they might be the best, those guys. I think Hadi and Derek match up very well. I do like Brandon. I think Brandon should definitely be in that contention right there for those top 3 spots. That I think that's what we're going to see. You know what? I actually like Nick Walker. Now, Nick Walker's shape is not as good as Hadi's and Derek's and Brandon's, so maybe that's why he's kind of like the 4th man out. I think it's going to go this way. It's going to go Hadi or Derek, 1st and 2nd, Brandon 3rd, 4th is going to be Nick Walker, 5th will be Ramy, and then 6th will be Samson Dowder. Now, I could be completely fucking delusional, but that's how I think it's going to go.
There's no way Ramy's going from 1st to 5th. No way.
He's got it. He's either winning or he's 5th. There's no other way around.
I think you know what I think, John. I think that Dave's been living in Florida a little bit too long, man. I think that he's been wearing that MAGA hat, and all the conspiracy theories are starting to seep into his brain, man.
Dave's right. That's what they're saying. Dave, you're 100% correct. Look at that. You see this? The peanut gallery is against you guys.
Yeah, well, me and John are going with basic logic here.
Spot on.
You're not going to go from 1st place
Ramy
to 5th place.
Dave, you're right.
Yeah, the worst they would give me is 2nd.
And these guys love to tell me I'm wrong. So, I just look. I've experienced a lot of shows, and I know you guys have too. But I mean, I sit behind these judges. I can't see them breaking tradition for this one show. It just doesn't jive with me. I'm telling you, Ramy's out the door. Now, if he wins, I'm gonna have to eat my fucking hat. But
eat your MAGA hat, not your hat. Eat your MAGA hat.
Now, I think a lot could go on between now and tomorrow because I think a lot of these guys were flat. Some of them were a little holding water. Some were off a little bit. Who knows who's going to look good coming back tomorrow night?
Right.
Well, you also have to put two other things into the equation too. Okay.
Yeah.
Phil Heath was commentating, and I was listening to Phil. Yeah. He was definitely 100% a little biased towards Derek.
Yes, because
they work with Hani. Okay, yeah. and it was obvious.
And so does Hadi Shupin. And so does Hadi Shupin, though.
Okay, so Phil, love you, brother. Much respect to you, but it was a little obvious. You're leaning towards your coach. So we put that aside right there. Yeah. Again, it was very close. It was a good Mr. Olympia. For the first time in a long time, we can sit there. Yeah. We can all sit there and say, okay, a lot of them brought conditioning. Flatness was there. Some of them were flat. And I agree with you, Dave. They're going to go and they're going to make the adjustments, and they're going to come back better, hopefully. Because as a fan, I want to see them come back better. But it was just weird, man, because you got like a mutant like Nick. And then you got Samson, who was holding his own next to Ramy. Yeah. I mean, just a lot of surprises, man.
Yeah.
Now, I will give you one thing, King. Now, here's another scenario we can lay out. First of all, they were pressed for time because it's like midnight over there. It's 3 a.m. here, but it's midnight there, and everyone was shot because the show went too long. All right, so they could have done some more call-outs, but usually we do see a final call-out where you might see two guys together. We did not see that, which could indicate the fact that they are just not sure who is going to win this thing, and they're leaving it open till tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
That is a possibility. So if I were Ramy, I wouldn't go and start going to the Chinese buffet after hearing my commentary. I would come back a lot freaking tighter and drier than you were tonight.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot more comparisons tomorrow.
Ramy looked like, I'm at the beach, and he kind of had like a very lackadaisical. He wasn't aggressive.
Because they kept him on the outside. Now I'm going to agree with you here, okay? Yeah. If they keep you on the outside, you're going to be like, I'm sure Ramy was thinking into his head, what the fuck is going on here?
Right. But
100% he was thinking that. What the hell is going on here?
If Dorian was on the right, would Dorian have let himself kind of just like be like, oh shit, all right?
No, he wouldn't do that. But Dorian also got a comparison against Dillette and what you call it, Lou Ferrigno at the Olympia 1 year too.
Right, for the audience.
And he said to himself, "Well, you fucking kidding me?" But he
that was for the audience.
Yeah. But you're talking about the shadow, man. I know Dorian. We all know Dorian personally. It's a different type of human being.
A strong man. But but that's Ramy has to keep that mindset too. I'm Mr. Olympia. You know what? I got to make he should be thinking like you're thinking. I'm the winner, so I got to make sure I look like the winner here. All right. Instead, he might have been thinking like I was thinking. Holy shit! They're not putting me in the middle. I'm out of this contention. I might as well just kind of hang out.
Yeah, I don't. He didn't look upset like that. He just looked like
I didn't because his waistline did not look that great to me. I think it got worse. His conditioning overall got better, but I think his waistline got worse. Yeah. And I felt like his taper wasn't as good. Look at that. Look at the ab thigh pose we're looking at right now. That was not a flattering pose for him. That actually used to be a good pose for him because he's so wide.
Yeah.
He doesn't
have the prettiest body, that's for sure.
No, but he used to. It used to be good. Let's go back to that ab thigh again. Hold on. This is a double by. Even the double by, his taper is not as good as it used to be.
But to me, he still looks like the winner, Dave. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You're putting him.
Actually, this shot, Nick, is in the middle here. All right, so I forgot that they had him in the middle for a little bit.
But he wasn't next to Hadi.
No.
So you guys think that Brandon's going to be up there then, huh? Like second place?
I think Brandon's third place right now. I think Hadi and Derek are first and second.
Every time you say that, man, I just can't do it.
Look, I hope I don't care if I'm wrong or right. I'm having a hard time judging this myself. If
me, and all of us.
I'm telling you what the judges think. If you ask me who do I think is winning, I don't even know, to be honest with you, because I think Ramy is something's doesn't look right to me. Yes, he's the biggest guy there, and his conditioning is good. If you want to go with that, I have no problem with him winning the Olympia. If that's what the mentality, because he is the reigning champ. I have no problem with him retaining the title. But if you want to say, you know what, something's not right about him, let's go with a different look. Let's shake things up. Now I have to say, all right, well, who's the next best guy? Is it Brandon or is it Derek and Hadi, who are shredded beyond shredded and really don't have any weaknesses in their physique, except the fact that they're shorter than everyone else?
Yeah, I think in my opinion, I think the second place, third place, I think that battle is between Brandon, Derek, and Hadi. Yeah. But again, Samson is just creeping in there.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. Samson's out because you know what? His back's too soft. His upper back is just not crisp enough, and that's why he's not going to be in there. But let's analyze. I mean, why is Nick Walker not winning this show? Why is Nick Walker not in contention? What don't the judges like about him? Because he's got more muscle than everyone. He's in probably just as good a shape as Derek Lunsford. What is Derek just shaped better? What's the problem with Nick Walker?
Comes down to shape.
Yeah. Okay.
100% comes down to shape. Because I like Nick. As a matter of fact, through this entire prep, I've texted him a couple times, giving him encouragement, and he really, really appreciated it. He goes, dude, you don't know what that means to me. Thank you, King. And I was like, yo, just bring it. Bring the conditioning. You have the size. Yeah, he's a very nice guy. I'm rooting for Nick. I actually like that. Haven't met him, but he seems like a really nice guy to me. Yeah. And I encouraged him a lot. but he doesn't have the prettiest physique. Like Branch Warren, everybody said, "Oh, Branch Warren." Branch had some sort of shape, when he
had a taper.
He had a taper. Branch,
he had a
you would
small
say,
waist.
yeah. So no, but you said it best. You said immediately, Dave. You said he's a freak.
Right.
He's got that freak factor. He's a fan favorite because he's just a blob of freaky muscle, but he doesn't have shape.
Yeah.
Now he's worked his ass off in that front double bicep to
He's
blow
got
out
shape.
his midsection.
He doesn't have his flow is not as good as
because it's almost like it's a straight up and down, like his legs. I look back at Nick's pictures when he was younger, when he was just beginning.
Yeah,
it's that with blocks of muscle added onto it with enormous arms.
Yeah, right.
Gigantic arms with blocks of muscle added to it. He's doing everything he can. He's
maximizing what his gift.
Exactly. He's doing everything he possibly can to get in there. But when you're standing next to a Derek Lunsford with a tiny little waist,
or Brandon Curry,
and Brandon Curry, who's got that beautiful physique, it's hard. It's very hard for him.
But if they go with Big Ramy again, then I could see Nick maybe making second. I mean, if they're gonna,
that's what I said. That's what I said, John. If you're going to go
symmetry and shape, then they're going to overlook Nick's symmetry and shape, maybe.
Well, John, that's why I said laughingly, if Ramy wins all the way on the right, Nick was next to him, so he's second. And that's the way it has to go.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
And Dave, and don't forget one fact that we all have to keep in the back of our minds. Okay, Brandon is a former Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
Brandon won the Arnold Classic.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got to put those things. They like him. And because they wouldn't give him the Olympia, they wouldn't give him the Arnold Classic if they didn't like his physique.
And he was second the last 2 years.
And he was second the last 2 years, and he improved. So again, this is the wackiest Mr. Olympia in a long time. You know what the
problem is? Here's the problem is if Hadi Chupin and Derek are the new look they're going for, and they match up very well. They have very similar physiques.
Yeah, they do.
Derek's waist a little smaller, Hadi's a little bigger, and you got to pick what you like better.
Right.
And that's who's going to win. In my mind, Brandon doesn't match up with these guys well because Brandon's taller, and these guys have freaky legs that Brandon does not have.
Okay, stop right there. I was waiting for you to say that.
And Brandon's got glutes and hamstrings that he never had before. I agree with that. But there's a discrepancy still upper and lower.
There is a discrepancy. I was waiting for you to say that. Okay, now I'm going to come back with the rebuttal.
Okay.
Side chest, Brandon. Side tricep, Brandon. Back double bicep. Even though he's got the hams and glutes, still, when he hits that goddamn pose, it's pop, 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 pop. And that taper stop. The abs and thigh, very close to Hadi. Most muscular. Even though Hadi's got an incredible most muscular, so does Brandon, and he just got that round. So it depends on where your eyes are going. Do you like the round guy or do you like the shredded, freaky guy? That's why it's completely up in the air, man. But remember, again, John just said it. He's second 2 times in a row now, and a previous Olympia champion, and a current Arnold Classic champion.
Well,
that's why when they were doing some of these
my rebuttal to you, my rebuttal to you on that one is that if they're going to clean house, they clean in house. They're going to get, you know what I mean?
See, yeah, but you're on that 100% clean house conspiracy theory right now. You're not budging.
You know what? I think Derek Lunsford is going to win the Olympia.
That would be the first time ever a guy won his first
I'm not laughing at Derek at all because I think he's an unbelievable bodybuilder. I give him all the credit, but they're not going to do that to Ramy, man.
Listen, he's young. He's got the look. He's a good-looking guy. He's a good representative. He's articulate, well-spoken. I think the years of Ramy going off to Egypt and Dubai and Kuwait and hiding out all year, I think they want someone who's going to be out there, the new face of bodybuilding. He's got a great look. He won 212. It'll be a great story. 212 now the Open Mr. Olympia, and I'm telling you, I think they're going to go with that. I think that's going to be
John. I really think Dave's been drinking that snake venom that he's been hiding and putting away. I don't know what the hell he's
Dave's fucking right. You see these
you
guys?
might listen, Dave. You might be right, man. You might be right, but I'm seriously doubting. I mean, for me, I'm sitting here thinking the same thing John's thinking because I see him laughing. They're not going to put Mr. Olympia in fourth place.
I'm laughing because we can't figure out who the best bodybuilder in that top 6 is. That's why I'm laughing, because there's such a disparity between everyone. I'm going with conditioning. I'm a conditioning guy. I like Derek's physique. I thought he was a little flat. He's going to come in fuller because Hany Rambod is going to feed the shit out of him like he does to Phil Heath. From Friday to Saturday night. They didn't call Phil Heath Mr. Saturday Night for nothing, because he came back fuller every single time.
Right.
And Derek is going to win this show. That's my prediction. At 3:30 in the morning, whatever it is, I got to get my club clothes on now, because King and I go in his Sound Factory.
Yeah, we're going
I'm going to pop a few ecstasy pills and do a few hits of Special K.
I'm gonna stick with Ramy. It's very, very close between Hadi and Brandon. Very, very close. Again, same battle as last year. And then I'll give you Derek for fourth, because you say Sam, because of the whole Samson thing. But I don't see it. I just see Ramy was, when he walked out, you're like, that's Mr. Olympia, man.
I think you're used to seeing big freaky guys, and he is the reigning Mr. Olympia. Let me ask you this question: who wins this show if Ramy's not reigning Mr. Olympia? You still have Ramy winning?
What do you mean?
Don't you think we'd be picking his physique apart to death if he wasn't Mr. Olympia?
Yeah.
I think that's it. They had enough. They only put up with this. They're like, you know what? We want a new face in there. And you know what? You could justify Derek Lunsford look amazing. And so did Hadi Shupin, but I think Derek has got smaller waist. He's a young guy. That's going to be the face of the sport.
I must give the judges some type of credit. Okay, I can't just completely put them aside as psychopaths that are gonna sit there and clean house for the hell of it. Yeah, I don't. I'll tell you why, because I have faith.
They're perpetrating the greatest prank on us of all time.
Let me tell you something. They did something excellent today, which I was very proud of. It was the women's physique, and everyone was saying 100%. Sarah. And what did I say, Dave? I texted you 20 times.
You know what?
I have Natalia winning, man.
Yeah. Sarah Villegas, and I like her physique. She was off.
She was
flat. She was flat.
You know what the problem is? Yeah. After Sean Ray did the live stream and was criticizing everyone, now they want everyone to say great things about everyone. So all they do is gush about everyone, about how amazing they are, and they don't actually give critique. You could critique someone in a nice way and not in a nasty way, the way Sean did it. No one's critiquing anyone, and I don't like that. That's why I don't even like to hear the live stream. Matter of fact, I had I'm not going to even say it, but it took 10 seconds before I texted you, Dave. You know that. We had the text messages as proof. As soon as Sarah walked out, what did I text you? Flat. No, you said she's off, and I said she's off.
She looks flat.
And her tan was off, and
Now, let me say one thing here, okay, Dave? I'm sorry. I have to do this. I have to.
All right.
I want everyone out there who's watching this to thank me and Dave Palumbo for saving your fucking webcast today. John doesn't even know this. They had listen, as soon as prejudging started, I'm watching this. I'm like, why is everyone dark? I don't understand why everything is so goddamn dark. So now I'm complaining. So I'm texting this person, that person. Finally, I text Dave. What does Dave do? Because of Dave, I always call Dave the evil genius. The genius in his brain starts going. So he texts me back and he goes, that moron needs to get the camera off of auto and put it on manual because it's picking up the backlight instead of the athletes. What do? I copy and paste.
I didn't know he did that.
I copied and pasted, and I sent it to Dan Sullivan. I'm like, you fucking moron. You got to fix the lighting. We're seeing nothing but dark. What happens? 2 minutes later, I get a text back from Dan. Dan says, problem fixed. Thank you.
Wow.
Dan is the greatest.
You cocksuckers owe me and Dave a thank you, man.
That's awesome.
We saved your webcam.
I saved another. I'm going to tell you another thing that we fixed, too. First of all, Dan is an awesome. You know why Dan is such a good, guy in the position he is? because he listens to people's suggestions.
Yes.
He doesn't have this complex, I'm better than
Think
anyone.
about it, John. Think about this. Think about it. Me and Dave texted the promoter of the Mr. Olympia, and we forced him to go to the fucking lighting guy and say, "What the fuck are you doing, man?"
Well, and then I texted him again. Once King told me that Dan responded, I had another complaint, so I texted him, and it was. I don't think the people knew, but when the fitness girls were doing their routine, the commentators were talking, and I couldn't hear them. You know, I want to hear the music as they're doing the flips and everything like that, and I couldn't hear it. I said, Dan, can you tell the commentators don't talk during routines so we can actually listen and enjoy the routine? Because they were talking too much,
right?
And he went and probably had a word with them.
Yeah, you're welcome, people. You're welcome.
So King and I are very emotionally invested in the live stream, if you noticed. You know.
All right, wait, Dave. There's a couple more things that we have to talk about here. All right, there's a couple more. That was one of them.
John Hansen's going to fall asleep in 3 seconds.
No, I think John's enjoying himself here.
Yeah.
All right. The second thing I wanted to say is, for the love of God, I think we already discussed this. You got to put the men on first.
Oh, yeah.
Either put them on Friday or Saturday.
I think you're getting a little sleep deprived because we talked about that right when the show started.
No, I'm saying, but that's another one of my gripes. They have to. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
No, the answer is, John Hansen and I discussed it. The answer is, do the men on Saturday, do the women on Friday. Very simple solution. Very simple solution.
That's when they used to do it.
Or if they think that the men help sell the Friday night tickets, then put the men first. And you know what the truth is? John said, well, maybe they're worried people are going to leave. Who cares? They bought their ticket already. Yeah. Once they pay for the ticket, they can leave whenever they want. You don't have to keep them there the whole night. You know?
And the pay-per-view. Once they pay for the pay-per-view.
Right. All right. And then the next thing I was going to say was about Blessing.
Yes.
This is a direct message from me to Blessing.
Okay.
Please don't stop what you're doing. Okay. What you're doing is fun. And me and Dave were cracking up today because of the what he did at the press conference. And then when he called Nick the Brick, I literally tear was coming down my face.
And Nick's got a great sense of humor too, because Nick gives it right back to him. I get news.
He has a good comeback.
Go on the road.
Did. Call him and say, I don't argue with people in the third call out. That was a great comeback. But
actually, he was in the fourth call out.
Yeah, Blessing.
They are the Kamali and Titus of the modern era, you know.
Yeah, Kamali Titus, my ass. I could have been in the trunk of a fucking car in the middle of a desert being burnt by fucking lighter fluid, man. All right. What I had with Craig Titus was real. This shit was fucking.
That was real shit.
That was real hate and death. Okay. That's a whole different ball game. But yeah, man, it was a strange prejudging and weird, man. I mean, I agree with Dave, and I think John and I are in the same boat. We both think the Ramy's got it, but you're right. Some weird shit could happen tomorrow.
I think you're going to do a lot more comparisons tomorrow.
100%.
I want to also give a huge shout out to Sean Clarita for regaining the 212 Olympia title. This guy is a little freak of nature. He's like a Dexter Jackson. I mean, this guy started as a bantamweight, you know, and now he's still probably the lightest guy on the 212 Olympia stage, and he's decimating these guys. I mean, he's devastating up there.
He's this big. Okay,
he's this tall, right?
When you stand next to him, he's this big, and on his Instagram, he's squatting 5 plates for 15 reps.
Oh, he's a strong motherfucker too.
You know me, Dave. I love that heavyweight shit. I love that, man.
That's why he's got dense muscle on his body. I mean, you don't get that kind of muscle on that frame unless you start really push yourself. You know?
Yeah, Sean's a freak of nature.
Were you surprised Kamal got third?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I was too.
Yes. I thought he was a clear second. Matter of fact, I like Angel Calderon's physique, but I thought he wasn't in the best shape that I've seen him. He was a little watery to me, you know?
Yeah.
I had Keon Pearson in third place, actually, and I had Kamal second. Solidly.
That you and I went back and forth on text messages about Keon too, man. That kid has the best genetics in that 212 class. If he comes in dry, it's lights out.
You know what? Look, I saw the pictures of him, you know, and I guess you can't really trust Instagram because people put filters on him, but he looks like the kind of guy that you can feed him 100 grams of carbs and he looked like he ate 1,000 grams of carbs. So if you overcarb this guy, it's going to destroy his physique. He's not a big, he's proportioned. He's not huge, but he looks huge on stage. So you don't have to make him look huger.
Yeah.
I think the mistake was they carved them up too much. I really, really believe
What
that.
did I say? What did I text you? I said,
let him. The same thing, and you know why?
I said, let him sleep. Let him sleep.
Yeah.
Wake up in the morning. Just don't feed him anything and tell him to go walk on stage.
Exactly.
There are some
Right,
bodybuilders that are like that.
Yeah.
You know why I believe that? Because as prejudging went on, and they worked him more and more and more, he got tighter and tighter and tighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that only happens when you're over carbs because you're working the carbs off. You're blowing the glycogen out of the muscles, and it's everything shrinking down, you know, and you're getting tighter, and the water's flushing. So because you're sweating it out.
Keon is a 1980s bodybuilder. What does that mean? Put him in a sauna the morning of the show, something that none of us will ever do. But the 1980s guys that go in the sauna, they come out shredded, veins, vascular. Have him take a couple of shots of fucking whiskey backstage.
He could probably eat 0 carbs for 16 weeks in a row and look like he's on 200, 300 grams of carbs.
Totally agree. I totally agree. Yeah.
So anyway, great 212 show. I'm excited to see Classic tomorrow morning, assuming I can wake up. Although actually for us, it's going to be later in the day, so it won't be that bad. It'll be like noon for us, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us live here for the official Mr. Olympia Prejudging post-game wrap-up. I'm Dave Palumbo with King KAMALI and John Hansen. We'll see you again tomorrow night for the Men's Open Mr. Olympia final wrap-up. Thanks for joining us.